Beginner versus pro. What's the difference when it comes to shooting cinematic gimbal moves? And how do we take our footage from looking shaky and amateur to smooth and professional? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you how to do in this video. It's coming up. Hey everyone, Steve here from Learn Online Video, and today I'm going to be showing you the difference between beginner versus pro when it comes to shooting cinematic and professional looking gimbal moves. I'm going to show you how by simply making just a few simple tweaks to the way you shoot can dramatically improve the production value of your footage. I'm going to be shooting two sequences at this location today. The first will be how a beginner might capture this location, including all the mistakes they might make. And the second will be how a professional or someone with a lot more knowledge and experience might capture that same location. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to edit those two sequences together using music, color grading, and sound effects to see what results we get. And hopefully you'll be able to see a huge difference between those two sequences and have a much better understanding as to why one looks much better than the other. You can then apply those exact same techniques to your films and videos. I'm going to be shooting everything today on the iPhone 12 and combining that with the all-new Zhiyun Crane M3. This is a great gimbal for these types of shots because it's able to take the payload of both smartphones as well as DSLR and mirrorless cameras. But for simplicity, I'm going to be shooting everything on a smartphone today. As always, all gear used in this video will be linked in the description below. Now, how should you hold and walk with your gimbal? Well, let's start off with how not to do it, shall we? Here he is, look, Mr. Clueless. He's holding his gimbal with one hand and he's putting zero effort into the way he moves and walks with his gimbal. What a complete kook. Let's take a look at his footage, shall we? Yep, as expected, a shaky and amateur looking shot. Bloody awful. Okay, now let's see how someone with a bit more knowledge and experience might capture that same shot. First things first, we're going to hold our gimbal with two hands. Having 2 points of contact on your gimbal will massively reduce shake and help you get a much smoother shot. I'm now going to start walking forwards doing the ninja walk. What's the ninja walk? It's basically a slightly cooler way of saying walk heel toe, knees slightly bent. This will help reduce your impact on the floor, impact that will ultimately travel up your body, down your arms and onto your gimbal. Now, this is considered the textbook way to walk with and hold your gimbal, but equally it's really important that you experiment and do what works best and is most comfortable for you. Camera movement. Okay, a common mistake I see beginners make is trying to shoot multiple shots all in one clip. Take Mr. Clueless, for example. Here he is trying to capture some footage of this church. He's walking forwards. That's not too bad, I guess. But now, oh, here he goes. He's turning his camera down towards this gravestone. And now he's off over this way and he's going to try and capture some footage of this bench. This shot just feels all over the place. It feels very messy and lacks a clear or defined focal point. So how can we improve on this? Well, instead of trying to capture multiple shots all in one clip, focus on just one camera movement per clip. Let's start with another shot of this church. I'm going to lock focus and exposure as always, and this time replicate a slider shot using my gimbal. I'm going to slide my gimbal from left to right and reveal the church from behind these branches. This was shot using the wide angle lens, but experiment with different lenses if you have them. Here's the same shot, only this time using the standard lens. Okay, moving on, shot number 2. Let's start low, lift our camera up and replicate a jib shot. This shot not only captures an unusual perspective, but also mimics camera movement often seen in Hollywood feature films. This really helps add production value to this footage. Okay, shot 3, final shot of this bench. This time I'm going to start with my camera above and behind the bench and pull back. This shot establishes the location, then reveals the focal point in a much more creative and interesting way. And now let's look at all 3 clips edited with some cinematic music. Okay, much better, much more professional and cinematic looking. Okay, moving on, my next tip when it comes to camera movement is to try multiple camera movements all in one. Take this push forward shot, for example. I want to include the top of this church in the shot, but I'm not able to fit it all in the frame. So whilst pushing forward, I'm also going to tilt up. This creates a much more cinematic movement and works great for any large focal points because it allows you to see everything all in one shot. For the best results possible, try to keep both your push forward and tilt up movement smooth and consistent. Foreground. Foreground foreground is a great way to give your gimbal shots more depth and movement. Mr. Clueless is back. Look, here he is trying to capture a slider shot of this window. No foreground has been used in this shot though, so the camera movement is very subtle, almost unnoticeable and a little bit pointless. So how can we improve on this? Well, we could use foreground. This time I'm going to do the exact same movement, only this time I'm going to use this pillar in the foreground. Just look at the difference this makes. Much more depth and movement to this shot. By simply adding foreground to your shot, you can dramatically change the look, feel and pace of your footage, and this makes for a much more interesting and dynamic look. Here's one more example. This time we're going to use this stone as foreground and lift the camera up to mimic a jib shot. Lots more depth and movement in this shot. Now let's see the same shot without the stone in the foreground. It's okay, it still works, just much less movement without the foreground. Don't always walk. But what do I mean by this? Well, let's take Mr. Clueless, for example. Here he is trying to capture a push forward shot low to the ground. He only needs to move his camera a couple of feet to get this shot, but because he's walked, the shot is looking a little shaky. So how can we improve? Well, don't move your feet. Instead of walking to achieve this shot, try just using your arms and upper body. This will often result in a much smoother camera movement, particularly on close-up detailed shots like this one. I have an entire video dedicated to gimbal moves without moving your feet. I will link it below. Now, if you do want to move your camera longer than arm's length, then of course walk. But if you really want to take your footage to the next level, then try attaching your gimbal to an extension pole. Take this shot here, for example. With my gimbal attached to an extension pole, I'm going to push forward with my camera nice and low to the ground, making the most of these autumnal leaves. I'm going to keep pushing forward and then lift my camera up, all the way up into the branches of this tree. Let's take a look. Camera pushes forward nice and low to the ground, skimming above these leaves, then rises up over these gravestones and into the tree. This shot has much more production value. Combining an extension pole with your gimbal is the ultimate setup for cinematic camera movement. This setup will allow you to replicate camera moves that are often seen in big Hollywood blockbuster films. You'll be able to replicate jib shots going from low to high. These are a great way to establish a scene and add serious production value to your films and videos. You'll be able to replicate drone shots by pushing forward with your camera at an elevated position. Again, use foreground to add depth and even more movement to your shots. Let's check in on Mr. Clueless and see how he's getting on. Oh look, here he is inside the church holding his gimbal with one hand, shooting very basic pans and tilts of this doorway. Let's take a look. Yeah, really not great this one. Shot at eye level, not cinematic in any way. Okay, how far can we push this extension pole technique? This time, I'm going to start with my camera as high as it will go and push forward through these arches. I'm going to slowly bring my camera down, still pushing forward all the way through the church, keep going through these arches and up and out of this window. Let's take a look. Okay, camera starts nice and high and goes through these arches. This could easily pass as a drone shot. With long shots like this, you can always add a speed ramp. Camera keeps going up and out of this window. Nice. Get creative. Here he is, Mr. Clueless, only capturing the most basic shots. A push forward, which is wobbly and looks terrible. Now a shot of these broken pillars on the ground. Again, shot at eye level, boring and amateur. How can we improve? Well, be more creative. Use your gimbal to help with this. This gimbal, for example, has vortex mode, which will allow you to fully rotate your camera. This time I'm going to push forward through this doorway and rotate my camera as I go. This is a very stylized look, a time and a place for it, but can definitely help give your footage a more creative and interesting look. Again, try adding a speed ramp with this to help pick up the pace if needed. But how else can we be more creative? Well, experiment with camera movements, your framing, your composition. Don't shoot everything at eye level like Mr. Clueless. Experiment with different lenses, focal lengths and frame rates. Try pointing your camera up and capturing the world in a way it isn't usually seen. Yes, learn the basics first. I will link a video below, but then start to experiment and get much more creative with your shots. Now, let's edit all of this footage together with music, color grading and sound effects, starting with Mr. Clueless and his beginner gimbal moves. Okay, not bad, but definitely room for improvement. Now let's compare that edit to the Pro edit. Let's take a look. Much better. Hopefully you noticed a big difference between those two sequences and now have a much better understanding as to why one looks much better than the other. If you found this video useful, do let me know by giving it the old thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, learn more about video production, you can do that by watching one of my other videos just over there. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.